Will you please stand? Students from Ringgold Elementary will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to ask if somebody in the audience would like to lead us in a prayer, because I didn't plan for that. Yes, ma'am. And your name is?
My name is Olga Estela Garza Gonzalez.
Ms. Garza Gonzalez, please. Please rise.
Dear Lord in heaven, those of us that are here realize the tribute that through these heroes you made this country great. We lost so many, but our pride in them has never ceased. In every war that is focused upon here, we are proud and we are grateful. For those that passed for us, we are extremely respectful. In your name, Lord, we thank you for the liberty that you have given us, for the democracy that you have guided us in, and for the rights that we as the country's people have. It has only been through you that this nation has been historically successful. We thank you for this wonderful exhibit, for the people that had the force of mind to see it through, for the people that generously donated pictures and mementos to remind us and our youth of what was and what must continue to be. In your name, Jesus Lord, we give you our profound thanks. And please keep us and those that are far away still fighting under your wings of protection. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Garza. I'd like to ask our president, Mr. David Porras, to address the group and give us a welcome.
Thank you, Diana.
Yes.
Welcome to the Kelsey-Bass Museum of Rio Grande City. It's an honor to have you here, present with us on this special day to honor our veterans that gave their lives for us to have the liberty to live comfortably here in this great country of ours. And ladies and gentlemen, we live in the greatest country in the world. Let it be known. Thanks to our veterans that sacrificed their lives, that is possible. It's been 10 years since I had dreams of starting the museum. We started with the Tejiria complex. Unfortunately, it was not completed, but now we were fortunate enough to have this building that was loaned to the organization. Now we do have a place where we can collect our artifacts, our family belongings with sentimental value, our veterans especially. And this is a last-minute program we put together in the past three months, thanks to Diana, our director for the Kelsey-Bass Museum, and my board. We have Dina Porras Gutierrez. Please stand up, Dina.
Right here.
Our vice president. We have Telma Molina, our parliamentarian. Okay, and Joel Garza, our treasurer, is not here. Then we have Jessica Saenz, our secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the board that's responsible for doing this event possible. We couldn't have done it without this Rio Grande City Council, especially the mayor and Chachi Jones. Chachi Jones being a very strong proponent of history and dedication putting back into the community. Okay, so again, this is just the beginning. Fortunately, we have 1 year to get it organized for next year's event. Like I said, this is a 3-week start that we just started, but hopefully we can get it together, make it bigger, expose it more with pictures, artifacts that our fathers, our brothers fought for us to have this liberty here today. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Porras. Will you stand up here with me, please? Mayor Joel Villarreal has asked that a letter from the United States Senator John Cornyn be read at every event that we have to honor our veterans. This comes directly from his office. Dear fellow Texans, we are blessed to enjoy unrivaled security and freedom in this country, thanks to the men and women who have sacrificed so much to make that possible. So today, on Veterans Day, we remember and celebrate all who have proudly served in the United States Armed Forces and who devoted their lives to safeguard our liberty through selfless service and courageous sacrifice. I am proud to represent a state marked by strong patriotism and reverence for our veterans. Nearly 1.7 million veterans call Texas home, including more female veterans than any other state in the nation. Among the nearly 200,000 female veterans living in Texas is Major General Angie Salinas, U.S. Marine Corps retired. Originally from Alice, Texas, Major General Salinas quickly rose through the ranks of the U.S. Marine Corps and broke barrier after barrier as she led thousands of Marines. She was the first Hispanic woman to become a general officer in the Marine Corps, the first woman assigned as a Combat Service Support Ground Monitor, and the first woman to command one of the Marine Corps' 2 recruit depots. When she retired after 39 years of service, she was the longest-serving woman in the Corps history and the highest-ranking woman and Hispanic member of the Corps. Major General Salinas will be the first to tell you her journey was not an easy one. Her great achievements came from perseverance and hard work. Her impressive career serves just as one example of the admirable qualities that distinguish our nation's veterans. Like many veterans, she continues to serve her community by promoting youth education and community service, and acting as a role model for young servicemen and women across the nation. We would never thank our veterans enough. We could never thank our veterans enough for their devotion to state and country. But on behalf of my wife, Sandy, and I, as well as 27 million grateful Texans, let me extend my deepest appreciation and gratitude to all the veterans for their service to this great nation and to their fellow countrymen. May God bless you all. May God continue to bless our great state of Texas. Sincerely, John Cornyn, United States Senate. This is not a once-in-a-lifetime event. This is but the beginning, like Mr. Porras said. We are starting this tradition, and Sara Hernandez and I will work hard to make sure that next year it is bigger, it is better, that we have our exhibits planned in such a way that you are able to see your loved ones, whether they are still here with us or not. We want to honor our veterans. We want to honor our Starr County heroes. I thank you all for being here today, and I thank you for your patience and understanding. And I know it's a little warm, but we're in Texas, and you never know. It's 64 degrees in the morning, and by mid-afternoon, it's 87. That's why in Texas, we wear little things that we can put on and take off, ¿verdad? Your program has a list. Yes, ma'am.
It's not my pleasure to take advantage of the moment.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the first time, and I need to acknowledge you and the people involved with this, that this has ever, to my knowledge, been done in Rio Grande City. That's true, the first time. This community, at the time of each of the wars, except maybe the Vietnam War, was a much smaller community. Yet many heroes came from this community to save their country, because as small as we were, as far away as we were from any TV stations or big newspapers or things like that, we were always well informed. And people here had great, great love of this country. I remember my mother saying, because her brother was in World War II, that groups of ladies would get together at different houses to pray. And they would pray for 2 or 3 hours. Just because the war at the time that this, when it was really, really, really bad, not that it's ever good, they had sons and neighbors and cousins and nieces and nephews fighting for that. They respected that. And they feared for them, of course. So prayer and foresight in Rio Grande City, as small and as far away as we were, never ceased. Personally, and I hope I'm speaking for everyone, I would like to acknowledge this tremendous effort that you have to put forward. Because as far as I know, this community has never had this kind of recognition. And for that, I profoundly thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I know that Sara is behind the camera somewhere. And I'd like to acknowledge that this is a team that works together. And because it's a team that works together, sometimes it's not all huggy pie and sweetie kisses. But we do get through our differences of opinion. And one thing is that this opinion was unanimous between Sara and myself. We knew that this was something that we needed to do. It was something we wanted to do during the month of November. The task of gathering material was mine. Approval and recommendations came from her. And so together we put this exhibit here for you. But let me say at this point, Ms. Garza, and I'm going to get very, very sentimental. Dario Guerra. Most of you know him. Has on exhibit right here a little cap that he wore in Vietnam. That cap saw many things. And when I touched it, I could only feel, I could only imagine what was going through a young man's heart and thoughts as he was wearing that cap, going through his battles. There is a saber that was brought back from Korea by Jimmy, by Sergeant Brown. It is a Korean saber. This was a very young man on foreign soil, running scared. And he came upon this, and I'm glad that he captured it and brought it home. A soldier had left it behind, because a war has sons from 2 sides. There are mothers and wives on both sides who pray that their husband, that their son, that their daughter will return. And so in bringing us that saber, you brought us back a little piece of somebody's son. Thank you. There is a food warmer over here that Estela brought us. And I imagine carrying your backpacks with you in a hurry because you hear the sound and you've got to rush and go wherever you need to be at. And that was part of your equipment. And you prayed that you could find a quiet spot somewhere where if you lit a little fire, it wouldn't call attention to your group. And in that little can, in that little canteen, it looks like a canteen. This soldier lit a fire, kept it going. And the rations were canned goods. And this soldier was eating something out of a can. And I'm sure that his mother was home that evening as she said her prayers, was thinking, ojalá que mi hijo esté cenando bien. So these are the things that you have brought to me. These are the things that I have felt as I touch these wonderful pieces of your family that you're sharing with us. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Yes, it's invaluable. As a teacher, there was always that one student who said, because I taught for 21 years in the classroom, in case you hadn't figured that one out.
And we survived.
And I survived. Kindergartners. And And then I was a principal. And I longed to go back to the classroom because then I had to deal with adults. That's supposed to be a joke. One of the students would always say, Miss, no dijo mi nombre. Mijito, porque te dejé para el último para que vengas a pararte aquí conmigo. Well, I don't think that's going to wash with you guys. So if I have left anybody out, please gently let me know. And I will make sure that the program is corrected, and I will send you a corrected program so that you can keep it as a keepsake. I am going to call the names of gentlemen, women whose families have been so kind to bring us items on loan for the rest of the month of November. We have the family of Sergeant Juan Jose Porras. If any of you are here, please stand. Of Private Maximiliano Garcia. Of Private Jesus Porras Jr. Of Private Domingo Porras. Pablo Sáenz Jr. Natividad Porras. Adalberto Güero González. Miguel G. López. Homero Guerra. And by the way, in the list that I have and in the exhibits that I have, Homero Guerra was the only one that was a prisoner of war in this list. I'm sure there's more. José María Ramón. Estanislao Eligio Rodríguez. Agapito Gloria Sr. and Agapito Gloria Jr. Matías García. José D. López, father, and Luis Alberto López, son, served together in Iraq. And I received that surprise yesterday, and I'm so pleased that you were able to come so that we could recognize you guys. Mario García Jr., Darío Guerra, Eulabio Cruz, René Molina Sr., René Molina Jr., Arturo O. Martínez, Rogelio Molina, and J. G. Lupe Peña. And Refugio Alanis. Now, in my defense, Mr. Alanis only came forth today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Right now, I'm going to read the other side. When Brenda Brown found out about this, how many of you know Brenda Brown? Does she do anything small? No. And we're glad for that. Brenda called me and she said, I've got a few pictures I'd like to bring by. I said, Brenda, bring them on over. So the Fighting Browns are here. William M. Brown Sr., William Billy M. Brown Jr., Oscar M. Brown, Herbert Harvey M. Brown, James Jimmy T. Brown, Harry Brown, Alan Sonny E. Brown, Robert Robbie Brown, and Albert Pinsey Brown. I know that some of these gentlemen are no longer with us, but of these gentlemen that I have mentioned, who is here today? Please stand.
Brown.
Stand. Uh-huh.
Please stand up.
There we go. Give me your hand. I'll put you up. There we go. You got it. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, it's
I'd like to recognize the great son, Henry Clayton.
you go right ahead.
Yes, I want to take this opportunity, Diana, to recognize the great-great-great-grandson of Henry Clayton Davis. Mr. Davis? A few words, go ahead.
He brought me some beautiful things today that we're going to work on together. And we may have an exhibit, the oldest veteran in Starr County at some point. Not living, but the oldest veteran.
At least Texas Rangers.
Yes.
I just want to say that it's in my understanding that Starr County, that they lost more men per capita than any other county in the United States. So we can be very proud of brave families, proud men that went and fought for our country. And I thank them for that. That's all I wanted to say.
I believe your great-great-great-grandfather was a brigadier general?
Well, Sam Houston named him Brigadier General. I'm not sure if it's a Texas or United States Army or how they did it at the time. You have the letter now.
Before I put it up, I'll do the research, but it'll be up on the wall.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I promised you an unveiling, and we're going to have one. When we talk about veterans, we think about men and women. Who mentioned prayer groups at home? Those are veterans. Because they suffered through the war same as their children did. And they gave up their time, and their heart was always on the edge. That's a veteran. A wife, a mother, a family member lived through the sacrifice in a different way, but that's a veteran. The canines, they're veterans. They're taken out of the field more so now than before. They're wonderful at detecting bombs and things that are there buried and put our boys and women in danger. So dogs are veterans. I know that somewhere there are ceremonies that acknowledge that. The equestrian units, horses. I saw the movie Max and I saw the movie War Horse. And those movies were just, to me, were very graphic in how these animals are utilized. They're veterans. But there's another form of veteran that doesn't breathe, but it gives you life. That doesn't complain, just keeps going as long as she's being pushed by the company that's on her. I found out, because Mr. Porras and I have a lot of conversations, and I'm very grateful that he has led me to do these readings and that. And I'm very proud, ladies and gentlemen, to unveil today our very own veteran that served in the Navy. And if I could have these two gentlemen help me unveil her. And I'm going to move the flag so that you can see her better. This is the USS Star, also known as 67. The USS Star, the only ship of the United States Navy named for Starr County, Texas, was a Toland-class attack cargo ship. She served as a commissioned ship for 20 months. The Star was laid down on 13 June 1944 by North Carolina Shipbuilding Corporation, Wilmington, North Carolina. Launched on 18 August 1944. Sponsored by Ms. C.L. Griffin, acquired by the Navy from the War Shipping Administration on a bareboat charter, and was commissioned on 29 September 1944 under Commander Frederick O. Goldsmith. I will leave this for you to read later, unless you want me to read the whole thing right now.
Go ahead.
Okay, I love to read. Her World War II history from 1944 to 1945. Starr completed fitting out at Charleston, South Carolina, and sailed on 31 October for the Chesapeake Bay on her shakedown cruise. After loading cargo, she stood out of Norfolk, Virginia on 27 November and proceeded via the Panama Canal to the Pacific. She arrived at Pearl Harbor on 18 December 1944 and remained there until after Christmas. Starr participated in amphibious landing exercises during the first week of January and then entered Halui Harbor, Maui for combat loading. Starr joined a large convoy and sailed west on 27 January, stopping at Awantok for 2 days before proceeding to Saipan, where the 2 Iwo Jima assault force was staging. The force cleared Tanapag Harbor and on 16 February at 0640. 3 days later, Starr launched her boats against 2 Iwo Jima beaches. The attack cargo ship had multiple duties. She was a receiving ship for wounded, an ammunition ship for the Salt Lake City CA-25, and she had a priority cargo of vehicles which were to be delivered only when requested, and then as quickly as possible. She waited until 25 February to begin discharging her cargo and finished on 5 March. She then got underway for Lady. Starr loaded combat cargo from 9 to 27 March and joined a convoy for the Ryukyu Islands. On the 1st of April, her first boats hit the water at 06:15, and they soon joined their prearranged waves for hitting the Okinawa beaches. I am terrible with time, so I'm saying 0420. 400, I don't know. On the 9th of April, the ship was raked from stem to stem by an explosion. The ship was raked from stem to stem by an explosion. At first, it was thought that she had been torpedoed, but it was soon learned that she had been attacked by a Japanese suicide boat. The suicide boat had exploded as it contacted one of the cluster of Starr's landing craft that were moored alongside. The explosion was sufficiently removed from the side of the ship, and the water absorbed the shock, so Starr suffered little damage. Starr sailed for Guam on 10 April with a convoy that was routed onward to Pearl Harbor. She arrived there on the 26th of April and was notified that she was to return to the West Coast for overhaul. She arrived at San Pedro, California on the 5th of May, and repairs were begun immediately. When they were completed, the ship participated in an amphibious exercise and then loaded cargo at San Francisco, California, to be delivered to Guam. She sailed on the 24th of June and arrived at Guam on the 11th of July. On the 20th of July, she steamed to Pearl Harbor for another load of cargo for Guam. Starr was several days out of Guam when word was received that hostilities with Japan had ended. She's a veteran, wouldn't you say? After the war, after discharging her cargo at Guam, the ship was routed to the Philippines on the 2nd of September. She arrived at Leyte on 5th of September, Starr operated on the Philippines until the 29th of November, when she got underway for China and arrived in Singto. I don't speak Chinese very well. On the 4th of December, Starr sailed from China to Sasebo, Japan, and thence to Vladivostok. She arrived there on the 2nd of January 1946, unloaded her cargo, and returned to Sasebo, where she received orders to proceed via San Diego to San Francisco. She remained at San Francisco from the 9th to the 18th of March and then got underway for Hampton Roads. Starr arrived at Norfolk, Virginia on the 4th of April 1946, was decommissioned on the 31st of May 1946, and was returned to the War Shipping Administration on the 1st of June 1946. She was struck from the Naval Vessel Register on the 19th of June 1946. She had done her job. She was retired. As a civilian vessel, Starr was sold on the 3rd of December 1947 to Pacific Far East Lines, for which changed her name to SS India Bear. In April 1957, she was sold to Trans-Pacific Company, who sold her in turn on the 11th of November 1959 to Dorama Incorporated. On the 10th of July 1959, she was named Lanakika. And on the 27th of May 1960, she was sold to Long Island Tankers Corporation, which renamed her India Bear. On the 7th of February 1961, she was again sold to Pacific Far East Line. Finally, on the 9th of September 1970, she was sold to Sing Ching Yong Iron and Steel Company for scrapping in Taiwan. But before all that, the USS Star received 2 battle stars for World War II service. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a war veteran, if nothing else. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our presentation. I want to thank our helpers here, our Vanna Whites. You can let that down, and in a minute we're going to take that off so that everybody can come by and enjoy it. There are refreshments in the chamber. The floor is open for anybody who would like to share a story with us, even if it's not true. I've met some very wonderful people since coming here. And as the year has progressed, that group has only grown. the support that you give us here at the museum, the support that Sara and I get when we do the county-wide projects or the smaller projects here is just tremendous. We're here, now you know, spread the word. Mr. Porras, anything else?
Yes, well, I'll take this time to thank everybody, especially the families came from outside Rio Grande City, Starr County. Thank you very much for having you here. It's been an honor to honor our veterans. And like I just said a while ago, this is just the beginning. We have 1 year to get organized and have a bigger event, get all the veterans involved with pictures, war stories. So, I mean, we need your participation. Let this be a great celebration in remembrance or momentum of our fallen brothers and sisters and uncles. So, thank everybody for being here again. Thank you.
Oh, and we also have the aerial view of Fort Ringgold. It's not the whole aerial view that was taken. There are some buildings missing. There is a little history card there that is also there for your reading. Eventually, we will have more historical displays that stay so that people come in here and they can get to know Rio Grande.
Yeah.
And this is for you. I'm going to pass these out. This is our way of saying thank you.
Thank you again.
Let me, least but not, our new city manager, Mr. Perez. You want to say a few words? This is our new city manager, Mr. Perez. Welcome to Rio Grande City.
Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
How y'all doing this afternoon? Awesome. This is a great turnout. Obviously, being new to this area in this position, I'm very excited on events such as this one because of all of you, we wouldn't be here. You stood up for us, represented us well, and made us proud. So very excited to be here now, and appreciation and recognition of what you offered to this country and all of us that are here today. Without you, we wouldn't be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our police chief, Mr. Castillo. Mr. Castillo, you want to say a few words? Mr. Castillo, our police chief, will say a few words.
Hello. I want to thank all the veterans for their service. I know that being a police officer is you know, in 20 years we do a lot and our guys do a lot, but nothing compares to the veterans that have put their lives out there, and we're free and we have everything we have today because of you all, and I really want to thank you for that, and God bless you. I'm glad you're here, and I do want to hear some of your stories if you guys got some time. Thank you very much.